this mean? Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. I don't know what that means. It means something that I don't understand. Okay. Alrighty then. Apparently YouTube does not want you doing the videos like that. This is so funny. Alright, so I wanted to talk about my 100-pound weight loss and exactly how I did it, and what I think will really help anybody that's trying to lose weight. That's so crazy that happened. I'm just gonna let it go because somebody's watching. So, I lost 100 pounds, weighed in early this week, hit the 100-pound mark. This is a journey that began about, 15 months ago, and I actually started as a mostly whole food, plant-based eater. And I had a lot of people that followed me and encouraged me along that lines. Since I switched to a ketogenic diet, I've had a lot of people abandon me and call me all kinds of names. And trust me, I get it. Possibly or probably well-deserved, that's fine. I certainly don't get offended by it. I certainly don't get hurt by it. And my every intention is to be a vegan once again, or at least a much more conscious person who's very conscious of the animal products they eat. So, and I still am to an extent. For an example, the eggs that I eat all come from my mother's chickens, who roam freely in her yard and are the happiest chickens you've ever seen. And so, I mean, that's just one example. Nevertheless, I don't want to get into a veganism discussion here. I wanted to talk about why the ketogenic diet works, and why eating in any kind of a way like that will work. Why the plant-based diet worked. Why did any of that work? And the reason it works is because you're eating real food. It's so funny that the secret to weight loss is just to eat real food. And once you start eating the real food, you very quickly realize how little real food you ate before. After you've done it for a while, and this happened when I was eating the plant-based diet, and it remains the same on the ketogenic diet. After you've been on it a while, you're like, wow, I just was eating a lot of stuff that isn't food. And who knew? It turns out that the secret to weight loss is just to eat food. When you eat food, it does a lot of things, but not the least of which is what it doesn't do, and it doesn't cause insulin response, rapid, massive, overwhelming insulin response. Real food either doesn't have carbs, or it has such a tiny amount of carbs it's insignificant, or it has carbs wrapped up and in the form of fiber. All of these things either shunt, blunt, or eliminate the insulin response. There's no need for it. And once you understand what makes you burn fat, and you understand that it happens in a low insulin environment, then it becomes rather clear rather quickly that that's what you need to do. You need to figure out a way to keep your insulin low. And if you can keep your insulin low, your body will go to its fat stores and it'll start burning fat stores. And so it's very interesting to me that the secret to weight loss is something that really shouldn't be a secret at all. And so you have to have a lot of conspirators involved to make something this big happen. And that's probably the most overwhelming thing, is when you realize how many people have conspired to keep us all ignorant and in the dark and confused about why we're overweight. It starts at the highest levels in government with the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, the Department of Agriculture, all the way down. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at the food pyramid and just bust out laughing when you realize that the food pyramid is a pyramid of weight. It's a pyramid of fat. If you wanted to devise a recipe on how to get fat, in other words, if you were writing a book, 5 ways to get really fat, basically all you would have to do would be just publish the food pyramid that our government puts out. That's all you have to do. Like, eat this and get fat. There's very little food on there. If you look at the food pyramid, there's very little actual like food on there. It's a lot of processed stuff. It's a lot of garbage. It's a lot of sugar, a lot of things that contain sugar. And so the way that they get away with it is the government conspires with these certain industries to feed you food that's horrible. They feed you food that's just that's not food at all. It's at very best Frankenfood, and it's at worst complete garbage, not worthy of human consumption. So I don't want to get into all the details about what you need to do a ketogenic diet in this video, and I don't want to get into all the details of that. I would just ask you to consider one thing: is what you eat every day, is the majority of it food? Is it something that was grown and picked, or grown and harvested, or yes, grown and slaughtered? Is that what it was? If it wasn't that, if most of your food wasn't that, that explains why you're fat. That explains why I was fat. These so-called food manufacturers build this stuff that's devoid of water, it's devoid of fiber, and it's packed full of sugar, and it causes a non-stop insulin response, and it's just impossible to lose weight eating that food, and your body goes into this fat storage mode. Not only is it a fat storage mode, you're actually being robbed of the energy you're eating. That's one of the greatest things that I learned when I started researching this. One of the secrets, I was like, wow, that's how I could be so fat and be eating so much food and still be hungry. When you're insulin resistant, which is a result of eating too much of this garbage food and you're bombarding your body with this sugar all the time and your insulin levels stay high, when you have the insulin resistance develop from that, the cells refuse the energy. They're resistant to insulin, which escorts the energy into the cells. So all the energy you should be getting from all that food that you're eating is being shunted away and stored in fat. So think of it like this: if somebody was bringing you the amount of food that you needed over to your house every day, and you would only open the door for 70% of the deliveries, and the other 30% of deliveries you just locked the door shut, and so the person that was delivering the food, they just stuck it in your storage shed out back. That's what your body's doing. So you're eating 100% of the food, but you're only getting energy from 50, 60, 70%, depending on how insulin resistant you are. And so you're hungry all the time. It's very frustrating once you understand what makes us fat and how many people are in on the collusion. All the way from the top, the FDA, Department of Agriculture, the meat and dairy industry, the boxed and canned food industry. It's interesting, the meat and dairy industry have their own role to play, but interestingly enough, they're the least culpable out of all where it comes to weight loss. Now, they have other issues, don't get me wrong. As close as you can get to something that's real all the time, you're going to lose weight. So whether that be a plant-based diet or whether it be a ketogenic diet, just eat the real food. If you just eat the real food that was grown and harvested, make your diet that. Make that your diet, and I promise you, you'll lose weight and you'll feel amazing. Look, I'm driving and I don't want to do a horrible video, but I wanted to take a second to talk to you guys. I'm ecstatic about losing 100 pounds. I do have a method that I use, you know, the ketogenic diet. I have a plan I follow. You know, I shoot for the 20 carbs. I try to keep the fat moderate to high and keep the protein, you know, moderate. And that's what I do. So it's not like I don't have a plan, but I'm just saying you don't have to necessarily have a plan to be healthy. Your only plan just needs to be, I'm going to eat real food today. Because I've been on both sides. I've been on the plant-based side and I've been on the ketogenic side, and both of them worked. I lost 60 pounds plant-based. I gained 20 of it back, and then I lost 60 pounds ketogenic. So I've really lost 120 pounds altogether. But I've lost half of it plant-based and half of it ketogenic, and they work the same way. The methodology is pretty much the same. But the reason I switched to ketogenic, I did another video about it, you can go watch it if you'd like, is because of the situation with my mom and her cancer and some issues that I ran into while she was in the hospital for endless weeks. Trying to be vegan in a hospital is tough when you can't leave, and my mom was at death's door and I wasn't leaving her. You can't go grocery shopping. You just got to kind of forage for food where you're at. And you cannot eat healthy in a hospital. It just doesn't happen. The closest thing to healthy eating I've found is at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. They have a reasonably healthy menu there. All other hospitals are garbage. They're complete garbage. Don't try to get healthy at a hospital. It just doesn't work. For triage, you broke a leg, you got a collapsed lung, yeah, you want to be at a hospital. To eat nutritious, no, you don't want to be at a hospital. Be far away from there. I hope this helps you in some kind of a way if you're trying to lose weight. I'm the living testament that after 40 years of being obese, that you can finally start losing weight. And I'm not no illusion here. I still have a ways to go. I don't know how much further, 60 pounds, 80 pounds, maybe even 100 pounds. I don't know. But I know that I'll get there, and I know that I'll never have a weight problem again because I finally understand what it is that makes you overweight. Finally. It's not anything that anybody ever told me, which is the most frustrating thing, because I genuinely wanted to lose weight. I really wanted. I really tried. I really did all the things. Like, I really did all the things. They can try to tell you you didn't have enough willpower and you didn't do all the things, but I did all the things. And all the things were wrong. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.